Hello, welcome everybody for another lecture on web applications with Rails. First of all, we made some announcements, I think both in Discord and on the blog about the grading stuff. It turned out that it's quite an effort to get everything up and running with each and every project. So we decided that it's reasonable for you to deploy your stuff to Heroku, for example, which is, I think we explicitly asked for Heroku, so that we can actually, yeah, you deploy it to wherever you like, but Heroku is probably the easiest way, so that we can actually check the application live on some server, and we don't have to set up everything to run them locally, because poor Christoph was busy all whole weekend trying to get everything up and running. Was quite annoyed. Yeah, and we also made some announcements about the final exams. We will ask you to produce a short video showing the actual application at that state then, and yeah, showing us what the application does. You will get a script about what to show actually, but this is how we will do that. So there are two things: on the one hand, the exercises, and on the other hand, the final exam, which will be a video, mainly at least. All right. Then we had the impression that there was some trouble with especially with turbo links and the JavaScript events that are fired during the web page reload or not reload. So I think I have to say some words about turbo links. Turbo links is a JavaScript library that is baked into Rails, but you could use it without Rails, and you could also use Rails without turbo links. And the core idea of turbo links is to reduce page load time. So in Rails, you normally, don't have to, but normally do server-side rendering. And so you actually produce HTML pages on the server and send them over the wire. And so when the request comes, we have different certain stages. First is we have to send the GET request, the actual that is asking the server to deliver the data. The next step is the actual HTML is sent back from the server to the client, and then the rendering starts. And we will start probably a little bit bigger. We start with the rendering, or first with the parsing of the HTML. And during this parsing, the document is being analyzed, and we find that we might need libraries, JavaScript, CSS, whatever. So we load assets. And then, of course, parse these assets. And do whatever is needed. And then finally, do the rendering of the HTML. And this is all quite time-consuming. So this is done for every page load. And the idea of turbo links is that we do the normal get, we get the HTML back, but we don't replace the current page, but we only take the body of the result of the current request, and replace the body of the current page with the body that was in the that came from the request. And this makes sure that we don't have to load the assets, we don't have to parse the assets, especially JavaScript and CSS may be quite time consuming. And we even save some time on the parsing of the HTML, and so the overall time for the page reload is much faster. On the other hand, we don't have a DOM document loaded event, because the document was loaded with the first request, and now every other request just changes the current page. It does push state so that the URL stuff and so on is staying intact. Therefore, we don't have this DOM document loaded event every time, but we have some TurboLink specific events. I think it's turbolink.loaded or whatever, don't know by heart. And we have to attach to these. And these are fired on document load 2. So this is, I just wanted to probably clarify a little bit the TurboLink stuff. The TurboLink stuff makes the loading of the page much faster and gives you the impression of a little bit the impression of a one-pager. Yeah, this comes at the price of different JavaScript events that you have to care about. Okay, so the main topic for today is about file uploads. Again, I'm not sure about your skill level, about your experiences there. So we will do this pretty much bottom up again, although there are things for file upload baked into Rails, but first we'll have a look at what's actually going on there. So how do I get my screen? Stuff. Oh, this is bad. Oh, I just said the wrong cable again. Got the screen? Lovely. It changed the resolution so that everybody can see everything. Sorry that. So this should be fine then. All right. Okay. So as I said, we want to make file uploads, and just for simplicity, I suggest we want to add a user image to the users. So whenever we sign up, we have to provide, or we can provide, an image. This is pretty straightforward because first of all we just add an input field for that. So we say this is the I'll have to look up which file this lives. Use accounts new. All right. So here, we just manually produce an input field. We have a form group, form label, avatar, and input form control, type, file, name, user, avatar. Okay, so now if we reload, we see we have this file chooser here. If we choose a file, take Newton, and of course we have to provide an email. Okay, so if we now click upload, we find an unpermitted parameter avatar, which is completely correct because we didn't explicitly allow the avatar. So let's have a look at the accounts controller and see what's going on there. This is the create action. We probably intercept just here. Oh no, we have to intercept here, debugger. Reload. Okay, and now we all right. So now we are in the controller, and we can see we have a look at the params hash, and we see authenticity token, the user, email, which is mail address, name, password. Oh my God, you can see my password anyway. And we now have another parameter with the name avatar and the value newton.png. But this is totally not what we want, because the only value there is actually this string. So we say params user avatar. We really just get a string. This doesn't help a lot because the actual data was not transferred. Okay, and this is because when we have a look at the form that's generated by Rails, we see there is this multi-part attribute missing. So we need to define a different encoding for the form to transport file uploads correctly. And in the for this helper, we can just say multi-part true. And when we reload, no validate. Oh, so it's not multi-part. I have to look it up. Simple form Rails multi-part. Multi-part. It has to be added to the HTML. Again, all right. Okay, so now we see we have an enc type multi-part form data. And this changes the way the data is transferred over the wire, and makes sure we can, actually send files. So again, we enter our data here, name, and we add our Newton again. Click create user. And we end up in the debugger again. And if we now have a look at the params hash, we see there's a lot more. And especially for the avatar, we have an action dispatch HTTP uploaded file object. So we just extracted params user avatar, action dispatch uploaded file. And this gives us a handle to the actual file that was transferred over the wire. So just to fiddle around in the debugger, if we do .file, oops, temp file. Temp file. All right. So this is the actual file, and we also have an original file name. Newton.png, because the file that is saved on the or that comes to the server gets a temporary name that is not related to the original file name normally, and it's stored just somewhere in var folders. Boom, this is some temporary storage place, and normally after the request, the transferred files are also deleted directly, so they don't persist. They are not persisted on the server where they are sent. But we have to deal with it. So what we have now, we have this attribute containing a temporary file, And there are a lot or a couple of different possibilities on how to store this. One possible option is to just take the binary data and save it into some blob in the database. But this is generally a really bad idea, because if we, well, for example, this file is, I don't know, 6 or 7 megabytes in size. It just increases the size of your database a lot. And above all, it poisons your database cache, because you have some rather useless data that is always that takes up cache place. So you're only caching the images that are fetched from the database. This is just not reasonable. Therefore, it's normal. The normal way to store the files is to put them somewhere in the file system and to just keep some kind of handle. So one way of saving this would be to move it somewhere and remember the name. And so I think this is what we should do now. So this will raise an error again, because we still didn't commit the avatar parameter. So, and now we should try to deal with it. And to be able to save it, I suggest adding an extra column to the user, so we can save the avatar image there. So we make a migration, Rails generate migration. Oops. Migration, add avatar to users. Okay. So now we have a migration, migrate, add avatar. And we steal it from here. Add column, and we change the users table, and we add a column avatar file, for example, and we say this is of type string, because we will just save the some kind of path name for this avatar file. All right, so we just migrate to get the additional field. And we now go to the avatar, to the user. And so what we want to do, we want to automatically set the avatar when we get the avatar parameter. So we say avatar equals of temp file. I guess you all know or remember that this is the way you produce setters with Rails. What we now have, we have ourselves, so the user object. The user has an avatar underscore file column. And we should now somehow normalize the file name. One chance would be to say, so we say file path, and this is rails.root, which is the root directory of my current Rails application. So in this case, it's users form code se calculate, and we can then join public, which is the folder where the all public stuff resides. And probably just avatars. This is the file path, and we can, of course, we have to deal with missing directories. So we have to file I think it's file utils. I'll never get that right. And we have to create this file path. So this just produces the public avatars directory. We could now, so this is the, which call this path. And then say this is path.join temp file dot original file name. So this is the path of the object that we actually want to, or where we want to put this file. We could probably try this in the interactively in the debugger. Let's do this. So say tmp file equals this thing. And now we take the Rails root directory and join public and avatars. This is the Rails root, public avatars. Next thing I wanted to do is make this path. This may go wrong because this is not a string but a path name. It's file utils with an E. Okay, so now we should have this directory. We'll just have a quick look. And there is public, which was there already, and avatars was just created. And then we want to create the file path, which is then the directory with the original file name attached to it. Okay, so now we can, for example, file. Oh, I think that temp file things, tmp file. No, that's probably wrong. But we have a path, so we can actually just move this file to the place where we want it to live. So this is what we do now. We say, oops, file utils move the temp file path to the file path where we want it to store. And then, of course, we have to somehow tell the object where we the reference to the objects we want to store, the file we want to store. So we have to save the avatar file equal to this original file name. All right. So this should do the trick then. Again, we run into the unpermitted parameter avatar. Oh yeah, thank you. Thanks. Okay, so but now this is ready for mass assignment. So we can just assign the avatar attribute, which is attribute as the normal attributes because we have a proper setter. So when we go to the accounts controller, we can remove all this useless white space. And we have this user params, and this should be changed to also allow for the avatar. And probably we just put a debugger here to see things working. All right. So once more, we click this sign up here, this create user. And we go to the debugger inside the avatar equals, so the setter of the avatar. This TMP file is our uploaded file object. And we can now step through and see. So now we should have the file the newton.png living in the avatars directory. Then we set the avatar column. Okay. Although I have the impression. Oh yeah. Okay. So when we look at the log here, we have insert into users, email name, blah, blah, blah. And this avatar file is a newton.png. So we now have our file object the name of the file saved here. Okay, so we could, for example, say we produce a getter for the avatar, def avatar. And this is, probably easiest would be to just give a link or a path where this can be found. And we don't really need this public stuff, because we only deal with relative paths normally. So we can just say file.join avatars, comma, avatar file. And probably add an if avatar file not present. Otherwise, we get a nil. And we can then go to the layout. And add in the bottom row if current user.avatar, then we just add an image tag current user.avatar. So now I hope. So this didn't work. Oh yeah, if current user. So we can either say if current user and current user.avatar, or we could use the it's called safe navigation, I think. This will be false if current user is nil. So all right, this works because we aren't logged in yet, and we have to verify our email. So we'll just do this quickly. Okay, we can now log in. All right. Yes. This is trouble with this image tag. We need to make this an absolute path. Probably, yeah. It's just we can just produce a proper string. Oops. We have to start with a slash to be sure that it works on every page of the page of the application. Okay, so now we have our avatar here, which is not really small. We can just limit the size by hand. All right. So this is not the way it's done normally, but yeah, at least it's working. So we uploaded this. Trouble is, if somebody else decides to upload an image that's called newton.png2, this one will be overwritten because the path where it's stored is really just public avatars and the original file name. So we could either by accident or intentionally replace images of other people with our own profile image, which is not the desired way to go. And anyway, so using file names that come from somewhere is probably not a good idea. So you normally try not to, totally rely on the original file names. One way to avoid the situation is we could add, for example, the ID of the current object here. So we'd have public avatar / ID of the current user / and then the name. But for this to work, you have to make sure that the ID is already set, which is not the case for during create. So when you're calling this within a create call, you'll find that the ID just isn't there. It's nil currently because it's only just set after the save. So you have to take care that the object is saved first and the image is transferred then after the actual saving, after the ID of the object was set. All in all, this kind of file management can be done, but is somewhat cumbersome. It has a tendency to just, you run into a couple of problems that will annoy you over time. And anyway, nobody does it like this, but Rails provides much more convenient ways to store file attachments. In the old days, so I think the first library that was used for it was Paperclip. There was a very popular gem at its time. Then Carrier Wave was the successor of that, which is still widely used. So we use it in most of our projects. And both of them provide ways to, for example, automatically resize or crop the uploaded images. So you normally have the situation, you want a big version of an image to show on, for example, detail pages, but you also need some smaller versions to show them, for example, on overview pages or page like this. So this is all taken care of by Paperclip and Carrier Wave. But the way to do things today is it's active storage. Active storage, which is a part of Rails, and we will go into details there now. So, as I said, this is the totally naive way to handle file uploads. What's important to notice is you have to make sure that you have the for the forms you have this multi-part encoding. By the way, in this form we had this was made by hand completely. I wanted to show to you, but if we just say app.input avatar as file, then SimpleForm knows, all right, we have a file upload in here and will automatically make this multi-part true happen. So you can omit it here because it's, SimpleForm is sufficiently clever to know that we need this multi-part stuff. And then, just to repeat, what we get in the controller is we get a temporary file which we have to take care of somehow. So we can't just rely on this file to exist forever. For example, we couldn't just use the path in the temporary file because this will be deleted. In general, it will even be deleted directly after the request. So the web server normally takes care of dumping all the uploaded files directly. So the server itself doesn't isn't poisoned with all these files. All right. Okay. So as I said, we want to use active storage. Active storage. I even had a look there. Okay, again, the guides is the best documentation you can get. One thing that's quite neat about active storage, it takes care of different ways of storing files. So what we did just now in the example, in the handmade example, is we stored the file in the local file system. And had the web server deliver it. But we could also, with active storage, save stuff to, so disk service is this, to S3, Microsoft Azure, Google, whatever, quite a couple of other storage systems. And once they are set up, the access to them is all uniform. So you don't have to deal with the actual way the storage is done. You can just use them all in the same way once they are saved. All right. So this is active storage, blah, blah, blah. So first we have to define how we want to store things. And this is done in config storage YML. I think this exists already. Yes, because active storage is considered a fundamental part of Rails. But as I said, you don't have to use it. You can, but you don't have to. And test. And we want to use the local storage, say on disk, and save it Rails root storage. I think this directory even exists already. So this is where the files are to be stored, and they are not within the web root. So they are not directly accessible by web requests. This was different in what we did before. We just intentionally copied the stuff to the web interface, to the web root, so that the web server will just deliver the file. But this is not quite often not what you intend to, because if you want to have, for example, invoices or other relevant critical data, you don't want to store this in the web root. So that's why you have this storage directory here. And in the development RB, the active storage service is local, which is this one. I guess that's still already defined like that. So config, environments, development. Config active storage service local. And as I said, if you want to change this to S3, this is mainly all you have to do. You have to change this to another storage type you defined here. And you see you can define this for S3 or Azure or whatever you like. But for now, I think disk storage is fine. All right. So this is defined correctly already. We don't do tests today, so we don't have to look at this. And of course, you always have trouble with saving the, for example, the login data for your S3 bucket. There are methods to deal with this. We don't go into this now. If you decide to use things like that, you should look them up yourselves. We don't need that. We don't need that. No, either. Public assets. Yes. All right. So this is the important part. We want to attach the files to a record. In our case, we want to attach the avatar file to our user model. So to do this, we have this has one attached, or it's even called avatar. So this is what we do here. So we go to the user. We delete the stuff we just made before, and we say has one attached. Or let's call it profile picture to make sure we don't mix things up here. All right, but what we need to do first is we have to create a storage object. So we have to create an application migration for this. What's going on with the resolution all the time? So again, where is it? Config. DB, PC, DB. I don't think it's created by default. No, we have to create the storage table. Yeah. So this is what we do. So we just tell Rails to create active storage tables migration, and let's have a look how it looks. Okay, so what are the tables that are created there automatically? So we first have active storage blobs. Then we have active storage attachments, which is so the first is responsible for the actual for referencing the actual storage. The active storage attachments is responsible for linking our normal models with the attachment files, and the active storage variant records is responsible for what are you doing there? Oh, I don't know. Strange enough. And this active storage variant records is responsible for storing or for managing different sizes or different variants of our files. So these three tables are created. So we have to Rails db migrate. So this should create the three tables mentioned. Okay. So yeah. So again, in the guides, it's explained what these tables exactly do. So okay, then this has one attached. Our user has one attached profile picture, and we can just add a file field avatar. So in our case, it's profile picture. So we go to the form. In this case, it's always the subscription thing. And f.input is profile picture. And we have to remove the avatar stuff here too, because this is all broken now. Okay, so let's see. When we try to register again, sign up, take some other email. So profile picture, choose file. we'll just take Newton again. And now we should get trouble with the permitted with the parameter names again. Yes, unpermitted parameter, because we renamed avatar to profile picture. So we have to change that again. Okay, reload, continue. Okay, so at least it seems as if it worked. We can verify the account, and so we uploaded the image, so it should be stored in storage. Storage kg L9. Here we go. So this is the actual file that we uploaded, and as you see, the name was completely scrambled, so it's all, yeah, just arbitrary characters, at least it seems like. And now we try to log in. No, I do not want to change the password. And now we should have a profile picture. So if current user profile picture present, then we can say image tag current user dot profile picture. Let's see whether that works. Ah, fine. So it looks like this worked. So let's have an interactive look at this user thing, or this the way this stuff is stored. So let's go to the console. Take the last user we created. Okay, so we don't have a column to store this profile picture. So if I say u.profile picture, the thing I get is an active storage attached one whatever thing. So this is really just some Rails internal class that is responsible for wrapping up the images or the attachments. And of course this remembers the record, which is to what it's where it's related to. Okay, and let's just see what. All right, this is quite a lot. I can. Dot file name, yeah. So we can ask this for its file name, and we will get newton.png. Let's have a brief look what the image here. This does not have any reasonable naming, but what we see is the path that we see here is Rails active storage blobs redirect whatever. So I'll probably make it a little bit bigger. So yeah, this is the path. So Rails takes care of the of mapping this path to the object that is actually stored within the storage folder. So let's just see what happened here. Yeah, you see this started get Rails active storage blah 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 blah. And this is being processed by the active storage disk controller show action. This is a controller that we don't actually set up, or that we didn't produce manually, but which is provided by Rails. Again, we could Thank you. We could remove these controllers if we don't want to use them. But yeah, in this case we want to use them, and so it's fine that they are just there. And Rails takes care of mapping the external URL stuff to the hidden files that are outside the webroot directory. And let's just again tell this to be a little bit smaller. I think it's responsive. No. Okay, so I'm not sure which version we are on. So we can just say, yeah, with 200. Okay. And if we say open image in new tab, again, we see all this lovely file name over here, which is automatically generated and which is not related to our original file name at all. But we could also say, for example, use the alt tag and say this is current picture dot file name. If we do that, we have this original file name newton.png in the alt tag. No matter what, this is reasonable currently, but yeah, at least it's possible. You can do it like this. All right. And what you see here is I already used the width parameter to decrease the size of the visible thing, but still the image is transferred as one. So if you uploaded 25 megabyte TIFF image, you will always, with every page reload, you will transfer this giant file to your clients. This is not what you want to do, but you generally need smaller versions of these images. And for this, active storage is quite helpful. So there isn't, and by the way, this has many attached, which is oh yeah, I shouldn't have clicked on it. Which is responsible, so which is used if you don't want to use one profile picture, but if you want to do things like probably gallery images or stuff like that, where you don't know how many of these you want to have. This is probably the way you want to go with the exercise, because there we ask for gallery images for the for your posts or comments. Luckily, this doesn't change a lot on the database level, because we have this this column that is responsible for the blobs, and the mapping table, which is responsible for mapping the actual files to the objects. So we don't have any direct foreign keys there anyway. So I don't know if removing files are not that interesting, but I wanted to go into versions, analyzing, displaying, transforming images. This is what I wanted to do now. So we want to change the images that we want to show, and to have this variant stuff, we add the image processing gem to your gem file. So yeah, we just do as we are told. Go to the gem file. Okay, you have to stop this and say bundle. And this should have been installed. It's probably installed by default. Yeah, using image processing. This uses either ImageMagick or VIPs under the hood, but I have ImageMagick installed. So what we can now do is say image tag, user avatar, and variant, and explicitly tell which is the size we want to use here. So this is what we want to do. And instead of using this size limitation that is only done at display time, it's really just a visual smaller image, what we want to do here is say we want a variant, we size to limit, 100 by 100 box. So let's see whether it works. Probably starting the server might help. No, let's see. Okay, so obviously it didn't work. So broken image. Let's see what went wrong. I had ImageMagick. Probably not on this machine. Okay, let's just hope this doesn't take ages. It's quite surprising to see that I forgot that. By the way, ImageMagick is probably one of the best ways to bring security issues to your machine. Every other week there's something wrong there. Should really have a look at the keeping things current, especially on the servers. And you may come, when you're dealing with image processing in Ruby or Rails, you may come to find RubyMagick or RMagick. You probably should not use that because this is linked in not too clever way, and it produces memory leaks. So if you want to use image processing with ImageMagick from Ruby, just use MiniMagick. Kaboom! Little Newton there. So what happened? We said Rails active storage, disk, blah, blah, blah. This is a different URL from the other one, which encodes the size you want to use. And then active job, or no, then the image was analyzed and transformed into the other resolution. So if we open this in a different in a new tab, we find that this is really a small image. This is not the same size, the original size image that we had before. So this time, this is really just a small thing that needs to be transferred over the wire. And you could, so this active storage blobs is the table where the blobs are saved. So we just have a look at the, oops. Yeah. Active storage blobs. This is active storage blob is the name of the the model that saves the actual images. And as we can see now, there are 2 of them currently. So let's take the first of them and have a look what's actually saved to the database. We have an ID, whatever. We have some key. This is the name that was used in the file system, as you might remember. So we have this KGL9K whatever. To keep the directory sufficiently small, the first 2, the first 2 and 3 and 4 characters are used to distribute the files into different directories. So we have this KGI9, file name. This is the key that is used. This is, I don't know, random or a hash or whatever. I don't really know. The file name. This is the original file name of the attachment. The content type. So if we uploaded a JPEG, we would have the MIME type here, or the other MIME type. Then there is some metadata. The service name. This is used to decide where to link. So if the service was for example, Amazon or Azure or whatever, then this would be there, and the active storage stuff would know how to link to the actually stored object. Byte size, checksum. All right. So this is the table that is responsible for linking the files that are in the file system to the objects, to bring the attachments from the file system to the Rails world. So there we have this model to access them. Danke. Okay, and this is the one thing, and the other thing is we have the active storage attachments. These are the linking objects to link the different attachments to the other database models. In our case, the user models. So we have this active storage attachment. Or take first. Okay. Danke. And this knows that the profile picture, or the block with the ID 1 is being attached to the profile pictures column of the user with the ID 2. So everything is stored in here. These tables are polymorphic. So we don't have to create special tables for every kind of attachment, but everything is stored just in one table. It is probably reasonable to have the correct indices on these database on the columns, and we could look here. Oh, I'll just clear here and reload to show something. Okay, so first we have this. So after loading the actual object, we have this select active storage blobs from active storage blob where. No, this is not what I want. This is here. We first load the user, and then we load the active storage attachments that are attached to the profile pictures column. This is the name thing for a user with the ID 2. Yeah, this is the way these objects are linked together. Okay. And so we can easily produce different versions. And by the way, when this was loaded the first time, this 100 × 100 version was created, and every time it's been accessed later on, this version is still there and will not be, doesn't need not be touched again. All right. Yeah, this active storage offers features to preview PDF, Word, whatever documents, but needs processing tools for that, at least for some of them. I think PDFs can be previewed by using ImageMagick too, because ImageMagick knows how to convert that. But you can also implement your own preview processors for this. Okay. So now we can upload. In our very case, we did this at the creation time only. But we, of course, should be able to change our profile picture. So I think we currently don't have any way to access our own profile. So we should really just add that. So we add a new resource, profile. And this only allows for two things, namely for show and for update. You could also add destroy if you want to allow people to delete their account, for example. But we now stick to show and update only. Okay, so controllers, we create a new controller. Profiles controller RB class profiles controller, and yeah, inherits from application controller. And we def show and luckily the application controller already provides this current user, so we don't have to do any loading stuff here because we can just use the current user. But we can, of course, only edit ourselves, which is quite right. Therefore, I defined this as a singleton route. So resource, if it's singular, it means this is considered to be a singular thing, and we want to have just one profile. So, and we now create a view. Folder, profiles. Current user name. So let's just see whether this works. Profile. All right, so this is my name there. Okay, and what we want to do now is we want to make uploading our image neater. So you generally, when on today's profile pages, you don't normally open some editing form to change your profile picture, but you edit it, well, kind of inline. So this is what we want to do now. And also here, so we could add some blah blah here. One of the better features of Sublime. Okay, and we want to be able to directly change the image. So this is direct uploads. We have to include some standard JavaScript for this to work. And since we are using the package stuff, we are doing it like this: import active storage and start active storage. So we have to go to the pack. Where is it? No. Just, yeah. Thank you. Application.js. Oh, it's already started. So it's part of the standard Rails implementation. So if you didn't remove it by hand, it should just be there. And yeah, we just add a simple form for current user. URL is the profile path. And we then do for sake of simplicity, we stick to the standard form field. And let's see what's being generated. Okay, so now we have this choose files thing. Let's have a look. Input multiple. In this case, we don't really need multiple. But what you see here is this is being linked to Rails Active Storage direct uploads. So this is not going to the URL that we are using, but it's just some special path. So let's get rid of this multiple thing here. This is not what we want. Type file, user attachments, ID user attachments. Great. So let's see what happens. We just choose a file, probably clear the terminal. Yeah, just take some random image. And this was not directly uploaded. Okay, I started active storage start was called. We saw that. Just see what's. Let's do it like this, but this shouldn't really change anything. The generated input is the same. Again, take some. Let's take this. And still. All right. No, this is get. This is not. This was just the reload. Let's have a brief look. Upload true. This course shouldn't be the problem here, because this course stuff is only a problem when you're using S3 or stuff like that. Okay, this is the events that should just work.
Yeah, JavaScript errors?
Okay, this I had to. Does it look like? So it's just not being called. So this is being called, I guess. Right, so the setup is fine, but nothing happens. All right, so I think I'm missing something. It's always bad because when you're in a you find they have an example for action text, which is a text editing, as this is the tricks editor that comes bundled with Rails. You may or may not use it. This is also linked with the active storage stuff. And in this example, they just show what how this uploads things are going. I think you do have to. All right. So no, this is. Yeah. Let's just see what's going on. This should do the trick then. Okay, again. Okay, so now we went to the update controller, to the update action. This is fine. Well, yeah, the JavaScript just doesn't work currently. I don't know what I'm doing wrong there. Oh, yeah. Params, and let's just see how it's named. It should be user. Okay. So the file was uploaded directly, and we got a new key. And in general, yeah, that's the point. The submit isn't done automatically, but we have to attach to the event and get the key and save the key then. But let's just for now problems. Profile picture. I've removed that. Okay. It doesn't make any difference for when we're dealing with disk storage. This is only reasonable for the S3 stuff. And the camera just died again. It doesn't like me. I do see the point.
Camera too hot.
All right. Probably the image is just too hot. Man's not hot. Well, I think I'll be done in like, I don't know, 10 minutes. Probably it's just not worth the effort, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so update profile picture, redirect to profile path. All right. So we let's see. Again, we choose a file, take this, and then there's something wrong with the naming. User. Yes, of course. This is just stupid. We just go back to simple form and input profile picture as file. Yes. All right. So yeah, I got things mixed up completely. Okay, so now we have our little version here, and analyzing took some time because the image was quite big. The original image is quite big, and so the conversion just takes its time because it's done with ImageMagick, and computations aren't that fast. Still, of course, we could just attach some. Or we could attach some JavaScript to the choose file thing and upload the image in background and automatically replace it. This can be done either with vanilla JavaScript or using some libraries. But this is something we should probably not go into detail here. I think this is mainly what I wanted to show you about the ouch. This is mainly what I wanted to show you about the active storage stuff. Oh, this is much better. Do you have any questions currently? Especially probably related to the exercise for today. Pardon me? Yes. By the way, the blog will be offline starting tonight or tomorrow?
Tonight, I think.
Tonight, probably. There will be big power outage in the university here until Saturday evening, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So starting from I think tonight-ish until Saturday evening, the blog will be offline. But it should be back on Saturday evening or Sunday morning, worst case. Christoph wrote about this on in the Discord, I think, too. So yeah. And the exercise will be mainly to add images to your profile in the to the profile pages. And of course, show these images and blah blah, and to your posts, so that you can post images, and then to publish your application to Heroku. So it's a real life deployment. Heroku is a quite convenient, quite simple way to get your application published. There is a free tier, so you don't have to subscribe there and pay something, but you can just use the free one. Remember to probably turn down the application when it's not used anymore. I don't know whether this happens. It's done automatically. Yeah. Okay. So. As long as you're not calling the page every 5 minutes with it should just spin down, and so we can but it's just convenient for us to have your application running somewhere. So testing is or checking whether it works at all is so much easier.
Because setting up the application takes around 30 minutes per student, and you are 31 students in this course, so yeah, it takes forever to get the assignments running.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's the reason why I included in the assignment somewhere that you have to enter the default user to the seat. Okay, I forgot to mention that you have to actually apply the seats on the Heroku. I will add this. So you have to add where to apply the seats, you have to run something like Heroku run break seats.
Yes, something
like that.
seats or whatever.
I will add this command to the so that the default user is there to the application. I set up the fan so that the camera is cooled and will not quit at this fan collapse somewhere in the background.
We are now all talking off limits. All right. Is there anything? With Heroku, you don't have reasonable persistence in the file system because when the dyno is spinned up and down, the file system is getting renewed every time. So you might need to use something like S3 to store images. Just to.
I included a tutorial for that in the assignment.
Yeah. Okay, so afterwards you might feel a little bit enterprisey because you have an actual application running. So accessible for all the world, and yeah, everyone will be using your social network then, I guess. All right, so I guess that's it for today. If there aren't any questions. All right, so thank you for your patience or your endurance. And yeah,
Have a nice week.
have a great week. Bye-bye.